What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 1 of the FX Personal Training Podcast. You may have heard the intro episode last week. If not, if you want to find out a little bit about what we're going to be covering, make sure that you go back and check that out. But for today, first episode, the first thing where we're going to get into some detail about some of the key factors in personal training and you achieving your goals. Now, what today's covering is the 5 key elements of all successful training plans. Now, this is something that we talk about in every seminar that we do, every presentation that we do, and is absolutely fundamental to the work that we do here at FX, because I believe that these 5 elements should be an absolute key part in every single training plan, every single nutrition plan, every plan that is trying to get you from A to B. Now, I know that it's difficult with social media and things to know what to do, but the reason that these plans, these social media plans or the sort of perfect plan that you find doesn't work is that it's not in context of you. So hopefully what you can get out of today is figuring out that these 5 elements, if you're covering them and you understand them and you cover them well, you can guarantee your success, you can guarantee that you're going to do well. Now, before we move on into what the 5 elements are, I want to talk a little bit about progress. Now, the next podcast that we're going to do is going to be based on monitoring your progress. It's a question that I get quite a lot. I was going to open up with it, but I think that the first podcast fits better today. Now, when we're talking about progress, what we'll talk about in the next podcast is how much weight should you be losing per week? How much muscle should you be gaining? How do you know if a plan's working or not? So some really key elements, so make sure that you check out that one as soon as it's uploaded next week. Guys, subscribe to this podcast, because if you're looking for your key information, you might not need to listen to everything. I'll try and make it as obvious as possible in the title, what each element is, and what each podcast is on. Today, like I said, the 5 key elements. So realistically, this is one that is absolutely for everyone, and you'll probably take a lot out of it. So, without any more info, let's get into it. The first point of these 5, the thing that everybody needs to do, point number 1 when starting a training plan, a diet plan, when trying to move your fitness, health, wellness progress from A to B, is having a really clear goal. We've spoke about this in the motivation manifesto that we've just released, and it's so important because when people talk about organisation and willpower, if you haven't got that clear goal, willpower doesn't really come into it. You need a clear goal to make the decisions that you want to make to move forward. So it's absolutely essential that we are making sure that we are looking at these factors. Now, the other point on goal setting is that how do you break down your journey? If you've got an end goal that's I want to get fit, I want to lose weight, that's fine, but how do you break it down into the key stages and the key focus for that point? It's impossible because they're not specific enough. Yes, we can start by losing weight, but we've no idea how much, we've no idea what the end goal is, no idea what the best way to get there is. We can't plan a route if we don't know where we're going. So the goal setting and having a clear vision and making sure that you can explain that vision to the people that you're working with is absolutely step number 1 in any sort of fitness, health, wellness, performance journey. You need to be clear on where you're trying to get to. Now, the second element is the plan, the exercise plan. Where people get this wrong is that they just look at the training plan itself. Now, you could have a perfect training plan covering 4 days a week, but if you're not going to be able to make it into the gym for 4 days a week, we have to look at why. If you're missing a lot of them sessions, automatically that plan becomes not perfect. Obviously, it's got to be in the context of you as an individual, how you're built, what exercises are good for you, what your training background is. But even if we get all that right, the context of what you're doing day to day, how much other activity you've got, what times are best for you to train, that's going to be key. And the other thing that people get wrong when looking at the plan is that they think, what's the best exercise to do for this? A lot of the time people plan the nutrition first, and that's absolutely not the way to go. What we want is a clear goal, clear vision, and then build a training plan that suits that goal and suits that vision. It shouldn't really be based on body composition. It should be based on what physical factors, what fitness goals, what strength goals, what muscle goals, how you want to look, what aesthetic goals you've got, and build the plan based around that. Once we've got this clear goal and a plan that's going to help you get to those goals, that fits around your lifestyle, then we can look at the third element, which is nutrition. And nutrition's pretty simple to put in, because obviously if we're trying to gain weight and gain muscle mass, we overconsume calories, we're in a little bit of a surplus. If we're trying to drop body fat, we're in a little bit of a deficit. That on its own is simple. Now, the most frustrating thing for most people about nutrition is the fact that they eat healthy, they make healthy choices, they cut out the foods that they like, and they don't get anywhere. If this is happening, it's because you are not in control of what your calories are and your macronutrients. So yes, there's an argument that says that not everybody needs to track the food, and I completely understand that, and I completely agree with that. But if you're looking to make a big change and looking to really understand what's going on with your body and how to make sure that you can guarantee that you're progressing and guarantee that you're moving forward, then yeah, I definitely think that tracking your food and tracking your nutrition, having a clear plan, is something that you need to be doing. That moves us then on to other elements that we need to be mindful of and considering. Now I've grouped these two in together, but it's sleep and stress. So the fourth element, I've put both together, and I'm considering it to be sleep and stress. Oversimplified, but the key elements here are that if you're not sleeping, you're tired all the time. Your performance in the gym is not going to be anywhere near where it could be. Also, when we sleep, that's when you're recovering. That's a primary driver for your recovery. So if you're not sleeping well, then you're not going to be recovering well, you're not going to be performing well. And if you're not performing well or recovering well, then you are absolutely not going to be making good progress. Nowhere near. Even if you're steadily moving forward by getting on top of your sleep, will have a massive impact in speeding up that process. Stress, from a similar point of view, if you're constantly stressed and constantly in a breakdown mode for your body, you're constantly ramped up, you're not able to sit back, you're not able to recover, you're not able to focus on your training, you're not able to focus on your nutrition, all of your daily routine gets thrown out of balance, and the hormones that you're building up aren't doing you any favours in terms of recovery and performance, or in terms of fat loss and body composition change. So we do need to consider these factors as just as important as the training plan, the nutrition plan. Sleep and stress, managing that entire recovery cycle is key. Now, the last element is how we progress and monitor the training plan. People often think that the plan that you get given on day one that's the plan, and that's what you need to stick to for the duration, and then we'll be done. We'll get to our end goal from doing that. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. So yes, the plan on day one, we'd expect that you're hitting your numbers, you're hitting all the training, but it's logical to assume that that plan, if you want to progress in terms of your fitness, it has to gradually get more and more difficult. Same in terms of nutrition. We have to look at what's going on as you're changing your fitness training, as you're changing your lifestyle, as your body composition's changing. That's going to mean that we then need to adapt your nutrition and adapt your numbers so that we can be continuously moving towards your goals. So again, the plan that we're starting with, the plan that you get on day one, inherently has to adapt and has to progress with you as you're going through this journey. Again, how much that progression needs to be, we'll discuss in the next podcast. So keep your eyes out for that, ears out for that, even on a podcast. But that's what we're going to be looking at, guys. So the 5 key elements that I want you all to make sure that you're covering is having a clear goal, having a clear plan that fits not only around you from a training perspective, but also a lifestyle perspective, making sure that your nutrition then fits your goal, your training plan, and something that still fits your lifestyle in terms of the amount of meals that you have, in terms of what you enjoy doing from a nutrition point of view, making sure that we're considering sleep and stress as just as important a factor as all of the rest of the plan, and make sure that we have a good solid way to monitor and progress the training program. Guys, I'm sure that you've found this useful. If you've got any questions, have any feedback, please fire them over, and we will try and make sure that we cover any questions in upcoming podcasts. Cheers.